It's your boy KamsCorner. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Do not treat me like a side chick. And let's get right back into the video.
Hey, did you hear about that house in Brampton that sold at a $640,000 loss recently?
$640,000 loss.
How did they end up losing so much anyway? Well, first of all, they bought in January 2022 when the market was completely...
It's still out of control.
During COVID. The average price for a detached home in Brampton dropped more than 30% since then. I'm still in shock.
In Brampton, Ontario, that just sold September 27th, 2024 for a loss of $487,000.
I'm going to pause it right there. Look at this house in Brampton and tell me this is worth the money that they're paying for it. You spent $1.6 million on a home that is at most worth $600K. And that's me stretching it, because Brampton, you're not in Toronto. You're not in the GTA. You're in Brampton. Nobody really wants to live in Brampton. So you're paying $1.6 million to live in Brampton. The house looks like a $300,000 house, $500,000 house, me being generous. If you lived in Texas, which of course we don't, this house is probably $150K. That's to show you how inflated our prices are. But let me get back to the video.
For $1.6 million.
If you think times are tough for you, you should see this guy who lost $800,000 selling his house. This guy bought this custom built home for $2.55 million in March of 2022 and just sold it in April 2024 for $1.75 million. This just goes to show that not only this guy, but a lot of people are in very tough positions and cannot afford to keep their homes anymore.
Of course not. Look at the mortgage on that would be crazy.
Sold at a staggering $500,000 loss after 3 weeks on the market. 4-bedroom, 5-bathroom home in North York was custom built and comes with a 2-car garage.
North York is a nice
sold
area.
Back in April of 2022 for $3.1 million. Well, the home was relisted 2.5 years later and was on the market for 3 weeks and just sold the last week for $2.6 million, representing a $500,000
loss.
loss.
16 years, your daughter will not be able to buy a house. It will not be affordable for her to buy a house unless you help her. I would argue that it is a better business decision. It is a better financial decision for you to buy a house for her. It's an investment property. It's a rental property. All of the money that comes from that goes into an account, and that is her college, number one. And number two, that house is being paid for by somebody else. So then when she is 22 years old, graduated from college, you can say, here, sweetheart, here's the home that you will never, ever have been able to afford if I had not bought it for you 16 years ago. And I'm telling you right now, that is the best financial decision. Rather than going into 529, whatever that thing is, college fund, that is complete and total bull.
I agree with that.
I'm telling you right now, going ahead and buying a house as an investment, that is the best thing that you can do for your children.
And I'm not selling anything I own because...
No, I wish I'd kept everything.
Toronto home sold
I gotta
at a
pause it
massive
there.
loss of...
This is the problem with Toronto real estate and real estate in general in the GTA. Even in Canada, homes are not supposed to be an investment. The moment you make homes an investment, you limit the ability for people, everyday people, to be able to buy homes, because now you have institutions buying it. Now you have one person owning 7 homes. Now you're inflating prices. Now the worst part about it, you're getting money coming in from China, from India, from wherever, in order to buy up properties here, which is screwing the actual people that live here over, the people that have been paying taxes, the people that have contributed to this society throughout their whole lives cannot afford to get a home. We're in a place where people that are making $100K a year cannot buy a home. $100,000 a year now in Canada is the equivalent to making $17 an hour. And the worst part about it is our dollar is at like 67 cents. It's worth nothing compared to the US dollar. So we're only going to see things get worse for us. So you can't buy a home. The money you're working for is worth nothing. What are you giving Canadians to live for? What's the point of actually working hard? It doesn't even make any sense anymore. A person that doesn't work and is lazy is a renter and they'll never own a home. A person that works their butt off but is not a doctor or a lawyer, they'll never own a home. So what other options do we really have as Canadians anymore? Let me play it again.
$900K as the market remains stuck. The property sold for $6.8 million back in January of 2022 and was put back on the market this August, eventually selling for just over $5.9 million, which represents a loss of nearly $900,000.
I don't feel bad for these people.
CREA's senior economist says that despite some emerging signs of life in the monetary policy easing cycle, the Canadian housing market still looks to be stuck in the same holding pattern it's been in all year.
An Ontario home sold at massive.
Only 1% of people could afford these homes at $6.8 million.
The property was first sold for $1.4 million back in January 2022 and was put back on the market this past July to be eventually sold for $985,000 at the end of September, representing a loss of $415,000.
$415,000 loss.
Added that as borrowing costs go down and new mortgage rules make it easier to get loans, more people will likely buy homes as the population grows.
A Toronto home sold at a massive $430,000
I gotta pause
loss.
again. Don't be fooled when they say more people will be able to afford homes. The average person could not afford a $1 million house. Even if it goes down to $800,000, the average family could not afford that. And I know you're saying if the average family makes, let's say, even $7,000 a month, an $800,000 home, first of all, you have to have at least $200,000 to put down to even qualify. So most people don't even have that because you're not going to be able to rent and save $200,000. So you're essentially waiting for your parents to die so you can inherit their wealth and buy a home. That's the way most people are going to have to do it, which is just sad and unfortunate. These $1 million homes are still out of the price range for 99% of the population. Yes, 1% of the population is enough to sustain this garbage. But again, if the everyday person gets fed up and they decide to revolt, what are you going to do then? I don't know if that's going to happen here, but to be honest, if you go on social media, even if you talk to your everyday person, people are completely fed up. Let me play it again. Sorry for interrupting. Let me play it again.
After some court drama. The property was first sold for $1.83 million back in March of 2022 and was just resold last week for $1.4 million,
house. Is this
representing
worth
a $430,000
$1 million?
loss in just
1.4, 1.8?
And the home's sale this year was preceded by extensive legal issues between the sellers and a potential buyer who put an offer of $1.72 million back in 2021, but failed to pay multiple deposits on agreed upon dates. This Toronto home sold at a shocking $1.7 million loss after 4 failed attempts to sell. This 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom, 6,600 square foot mega mansion in Etobicoke first sold in February of 2021 for $6.7 million. Well, 3 years later and 4 failed attempts to sell, the house just sold for $5 million, resulting in a $1.7
$5 million. I'm building a custom home.
In Brampton
no house should be $5 million.
Home, which is a distressed sale with $600,000 loss. As you can see over here, $600,000 loss. Seller is walking away from the deposit, and there's over $100,000 worth of upgrade. The purchase price is $2,039,000, and the asking price is $1.4 million. The house looks beautiful, 2,200 square feet. But would you pay $1.4 million to live in Brampton, or would you pass?
Someone in Brampton is renting out a single bed in the middle of a kitchen. This horror rental is listed for $350 a month, but your room is
$350 a month to live in somebody's kitchen.
In the middle of the kitchen. One person wrote online, "Now you can literally wake up and smell the coffee. Would you rent this room out for $350 a month?"
No, I would not rent that room out for $350 a month. But on a serious note, I don't know where the prices will go from here, but something has to happen. I'm 27. I want to be able to buy a home eventually. It looks like I will never be able to buy a home, and it is definitely frustrating. People don't want to be renters forever. There's no problem renting, don't get me wrong, but houses, like condos for people my age, should be $200,000, $300,000. But they're $800,000, $1 million for a condo. A house is $2 million. And then the government will complain that we don't have enough the population is not increasing and it's going down. So then you bring a bunch of people that are immigrants, which will not help anything. It actually only makes things worse. And the data will show that. What needs to happen is you need to lower the price of property so people could actually move out of their parents' houses and they could start families. And that's how you'll grow the population. When you have a society where men and women cannot afford to move out of their parents' house, they're not going to have kids. So then the population will decrease. That's common sense. if I'm living with my mom or my dad, and my mom and my dad, and my girlfriend's living with her mom and her dad, why would we have a kid? What are we gonna do? Like, what sense does that make? The average person is not going to do that. So if Canada wants things to get better, they need to lower prices, because once prices are lower, it will ease everything. They want people to spend more money to energize the economy, put more dollars into the economy. They want us to be buying stuff. Well, we can't buy anything if the place we stay at takes up almost half of our income. It just won't work. So I don't know. Let me know what you think down below. Do you think a crash will happen, or do you think things will just go up from here, or it's a minor correction and it will go back up? You let me know. I'm KamsCorner. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Do not treat me like a side chick, and I'm out.